Yo, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another New World video. So this is going to be episode 2 of the decision making series where I'm going to be breaking down and giving you my thought process during some of my fights. Now, as I mentioned in the first video, I'm not claiming to be the best New World PvPer, but hopefully through these breakdowns there'll be a few things that you can learn and apply to your gameplay. I also want to mention again that I want the gameplay to be the main focus of this series, so I won't be covering any talent setups or anything like that in this video. I'll also have some pausing and playing just so I can cover everything that's on my mind, but with all that said, let's jump into it. Alright guys, so jumping into this first clip, I want to give a little bit of a backstory on how I ended up here. So I was out in the Great Cleave and I was running PvP missions. On my way back in, probably about right here, someone came out of nowhere with a fire staff and almost one-shot me. Thankfully, I made it back in, turned in my PvP missions, and I saw him run off over here. I snuck out and made my way around, got up on this mountain, because I knew if I could keep him at distance, with him using a fire staff and me having a musket, I would be at a significant advantage to easily win a 1v1 with him. So I'm up here just looking around for him, scouting out the area. I'm checking right, I'm checking down below, I'm checking out there, and then I see him right there. So I take my first shot, and I get it hit. I had a powder burn loaded, but I realized he was actually in a duel with another purple who was also flagged for PvP. So I went out looking for that 1v1 and I ended up getting a 1v2. So my initial reaction was to go back to the guy that I had my powder burn on, but I realized that this guy in front actually just used the dodge roll, which means he's in light gear. He's going to be taking way more damage, so he's who I shift my focus to. I get the hit there. I unfortunately missed that, but I load my powder burn here. I take my time, I get the hit, I load my power shot, I get that hit, I dodge reload, I get the crit, I'll peek over, and I get the finish. Now it didn't occur to me at the time, but there's actually a third guy that made his way down. So if we bring it back a little bit, you can actually clearly see him running right there. But my focus is specifically on these 2 health bars. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, this was definitely one of my toss-up days where I felt like I was hitting some shots, I felt like I was missing some. It definitely wasn't one of my worst days, but when I talk about situational awareness, this is something that I want to be mindful of too. Not just locking in on the things that are right in front of your face, you also still have to be scouting around. So if we play this out, you can easily see him running down now. My focus is on this guy. There he is. Musket just aiming at me, I get the kill. He took one shot and missed it because he was reloading there. I get hit, and the second one really lets me know, hey, there's a musket user on the field. I got to pay attention to him now too. I went looking for a 1v1, thought I had a 1v2, ends up being a 1v3. So now right here, my focus is actually going to shift to this guy. So if we were to quickly label these, the first guy that I killed will be number 1. This guy is now number 2, and this guy is number 3. I'm also being mindful that number 2 is probably going to try to flank me and come around. But I'm not too worried about him because this guy, number 3, is the one who has the musket. So right now, he's the bigger threat to me. So I'm actually going to crouch down right here, pop a new powder burn, and I'm going to hit a potion. Now, if you're unaware, when you go prone, you actually can't pop a potion or use a food buff, which is why I crouch in this situation. And you can see I can pop both of them. I pop up. Unfortunately, I missed my shot here. I thought he was going to continue. I felt like that shot should have hit, but it's whatever. It's fine. I scope in. I take my time. Get the headshot there with my power shot. And right here, I'm going to realize that I paused for a second because I realized that this guy was unflagged, but he was running back. And he's running essentially directly towards me and ran across this guy. Now I have a pretty strong feeling that this is the first guy that I killed, given that the spawn point is right there. If he were to make his way back out, usually you don't unflag until you're usually around right down here. So now I'm starting to think that this first guy that I killed is going to be coming all the way around to try to get up on this little mountain to also go for a flank, along with the second guy, given that I don't see him down here at all. So I'm going to take my time. I hit my shot there. I load another powder burn. And I'm letting him use his rolls. I'm letting him get comfortable. I'm taking my time. I have to realize that even though I'm getting rushed now by 2 people, I have to take my time and let every shot count. I have enough time to kill this guy, so I can't put too much stress and pressure on myself. So I get the second shot there. I load my power shot there, but unfortunately it misses. It's all right. I get that hit, instant reload. I get the headshot there. I get the other body there. Felt like that should have hit, but it's fine. Unfortunately, I missed that. I load my powder burn, excuse me, and then I get the finish. Now, immediately, I'm turning around to look because it's been way too long, and I'm more than positive that that second guy is going to be right behind me. Turns out I was correct. So the first thing that I recognize right here is this is the exact same guy that almost one-shot me with the fire staff. And now I'm in a position where I don't want to be in close range with a musket where I essentially have to stand still to load some of my abilities. So I really start to think that I have two options. I can stay and fight and take this 1v1 in close range where I don't want to be, run the risk of that first guy that I killed making his way back up and turning this into a 1v2, or I can take the victory that I have, landing 2 out of the 3 kills and just get out. This isn't war where I want to stay and fight as long as possible to defend a point even if it means dying, and given that this was a day that I didn't feel like I was on it with every single shot that I took, I decided to go with option number 2. So I load my shot, I take my first one and miss, but it's alright. I pop the rapier out, I hit the flash, and I'm just running. Now, I pop my potion, make sure I'm keeping my health high, and I'm going to turn around right here to check. And of course, I was correct. The first guy that I killed decided to show back up, and you can see him jumping off right here. So my assessment of being up here, possibly turning into a 1v2, was correct. Now, this guy is a little bit too close for comfort for me, which makes me think that he actually used his fire staff charge to get off the mountain and try to close the distance to get to me as fast as possible. So I'm going to start rolling. I use my evade. I rolled a little bit too much there, but it's alright. I'm using my flash. I get the cooldown reset right there, and I'm going to flash again to get inside. He's chasing, but it's alright. I'm going to roll. PvP enabled. I know that I'm safe. I'm going to give him a thumbs up just to taunt him, and I made it out. So the things that I want you to take away from this clip, number one being, if you're not in a war, you don't always have to stay and fight till your death. That's an easy way to rack up a repair bill, spend a lot of gold, and lose a lot of repair parts. I do encourage staying and fighting though, just because that is one way that you will better yourself and improve inside of PvP. Number two, if you are using a musket, really try to position yourself and give yourself an advantage to where you're going to be able to take your time and have easy shots on people, but it's also going to be very difficult for people to get to you inside a world PvP. Looking back at this right here, I was standing right here. You can definitely see how big of a detour these guys had to take to get all the way around and jump up to try to get to me. And the last thing that I want you to take away from this clip, I briefly mentioned it just now, but if you're positioned correctly, take your time with your shots. If someone's in a wide open field and they're shooting back at you and you're positioned better than they are, do what I did. Let them burn their rolls before you actually shoot. That way it's going to be easier to hit your shot. So in this clip, I'm in the same area, but it was a different day and I'm just looking for PvP. You can see this was the mountain that I was standing on in the last clip. And I gotta say, I just have those days where I really feel like I was on it with every shot that I take. And this was one of those days. So I see someone running right here and I check. Turns out he's unflagged. I'm sad, but it's fine. I'm still running, still scouting, and I see someone right there. So I already have a powder burn shot loaded, and I'm just going to start dumping shots into this guy. So I hit the first one. I hit the second one. Now, if we go back really quickly, there was something that I want you guys to see that I actually caught. If we go back and we hit play right here. Did you see that guy running up there? Let me run that back for you. Right here. When I'm talking about situational awareness, some days I have it better than others, but this is exactly what I mean. This is definitely, I feel like, a skill that I've developed from years and years of playing FPS games, but it's definitely something that I think other people can learn and incorporate into their gameplay. So as I hit play, you'll see him running, but I'm just hitting these shots into this guy over and over. I'm being mindful. You just saw him right there in that top corner as he jumped down. Unfortunately, I missed that shot there. Through the trees, I get the crit, and immediately I knew he was up there. What did I do? I knew I wasn't going to get a second shot. I immediately turned and looked to see if that guy was going to try to attack me. Turns out he's shooting a fireball. He was a little bit short, but I rolled anyways. I'm going to load the power shot. I get the crit. Excuse me, the powder burn, and then I load the power shot. I get the finish. Finish my kill. And now I'm looking up here, waiting for that guy to pop. So I'm just scouting around, looking for him. I'm checking over here and make sure he didn't drop down, and there he is. I get the headshot. I line it up. I load the power shot now. I get that hit as well as he was dropping. That was a beautiful shot. Unfortunately, I missed that one there. That would have been great if I hit it. I load the powder burn. I get the refresh on it. And unfortunately, he just lays down right there. I was about to hit my shot to actually finish the kill. And I'm just waiting for him. I get hit by a fireball from behind, and I'm almost positive I crossed camp before this clip started. That first guy that I killed, this is the exact same guy coming to get his revenge. But to be honest with you, I'm full tunnel visioned on this guy. I want to get this kill because I hit some beautiful shots on them. So I'm going to roll. I pull out the bow, just randomly shoot an evade shot to check, and I'm just looking for this guy. Unfortunately, I get the hit, but I don't get enough damage into him. I shoot the penetrating shot, just try to wing it. I pop a potion, and I make a fatal mistake here, even though he's in complete LOS. I decide to stand still and load an ability. I thought I had enough space between me and that guy, but unfortunately, there wasn't, and he gets the kill on top of me. But now it's alright, just because I did run into these two afterwards in town, and I'll just put up the screenshot of a little chat that I had with them. I guess they weren't too happy with the shots that I was making that day. And I'm not by any means trying to, break my arm, trying to pat myself on the back. I'm throwing this up just to kind of show my progress of how I developed with keyboard and mouse. For those of you who don't know, I'll have it linked in the description, but I actually have a video on Battlefield 4 talking about Battlefield 2042. I was really hyped for the game to come out, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be stuck playing with New World for a while. I actually grew up playing console. If you were to put a controller in my hand right now, after 5 or 10 minutes, I'm going to aim 10 times better than I do on mouse and keyboard. When I first made the switch, it felt alien to me to try to aim with my mouse and not having two joysticks. It was a complete overhaul of, building from the ground back up, outside of the fact of, having that game sense of knowing where to look and recognizing stuff going on or movement in the corner of my screen. But I really kind of want this to serve as an inspiration for you guys. If you think that, your aim sucks, I promise you guys, don't give up. As long as you put in the time and you're being a little bit consistent with your gaming, your aim will improve. I believe in you guys because I was a person that for a moment when I switched to keyboard and mouse, I didn't believe in myself, but I'm definitely happy with the progress that I've made on mouse and keyboard. And even to this day, every day, I feel like I'm getting better and better and better. A tip that I would definitely give you is to go into your settings, go to gameplay and look at your camera sensitivity, turn that down a little bit. If you want, go check out the DPI on your mouse and turn that down a little bit as well. If you have the space for it, get a bigger mouse pad. There's definitely a lot of things that you can do to help be a little bit more consistent with your aiming. But another reason I wanted to throw this clip up for you guys is that situational awareness that I was talking about. Don't just tunnel vision and lock onto that one target that you were looking at. If we were to go back and look at this again, after I shoot this guy, I immediately start looking up and looking at this guy. If I didn't see him from before, he probably could have had a free fireball just land on me and chunk my health. So really try to work on not getting tunnel vision. Well, that's it for me, guys. Just wanted to make a quick episode on the musket and talk about finding the right positioning, knowing when you need to get out, and what good situational awareness looks like. Making sure that you're not falling prey to tunnel vision. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful though. If you did, do me a favor and let me know by dropping a like on it. Right now, I'm praying that Outpost Rush comes back up soon. I got to play like 2 games of it and then I had to head out for a little bit, and by the time I got back on, AGS took it offline, which sucks because I had a ton of fun playing it, so I can't wait for that to come back up. As always though, thank you guys so much for the support you've been giving the channel. If you missed episode 1 on this series, I'll have it linked at the end. I did a breakdown of a 1v2 that I did with a bow, so definitely go check that out. But if you enjoy this content and you want to find your way back, feel free to hit that sub button and ring the bell. I'd appreciate it. Thank you all again for the support, and just remember, the meta. I'll catch you in the next one.